trying to think of how to intro it, because like the idea of making it an actual thing, like trying to start out like, hey, this is us, we're starting it. Hey, this is the
Goodest
podcast.
Gang. Oh.
Goodest Gang. Are we going to do the gang? Do we want to be a Goodest Gang? Because that could cause problems.
Goodest group. I feel like group. Goodest group.
I like Darius' idea.
So we're going with Goodest Group. This is the Goodest Group
GG.
conversation.
I think you honestly just doing that. Like, hey, we're about to start. Like, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Welcome to the podcast, people. We are the Goodest Group, and we've got things to talk about. We're going to try to create some sort of atmosphere for the next hour or so. We got our group. We got Skylar over there working the ones and twos, helping set this whole thing up. Got Monica Sauceda giving us this whole atmosphere. We got lights overhead. We got a creepy Batman DJ. We got the ever-present, dominating voice of one Darius Culpepper.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Just need that right off the grip just to get people to know what's coming up for them. And I will be trying to help navigate this with him. I'm Corey Hogger. I'm just here mostly to scope out and perv on the DJ over here. But we got some things to talk about. How are we feeling? This is basically the start of what we're doing. So I figure best foot forward. We can all create a conversation before we start getting into anything and just vibe out.
No, absolutely.
Get into what we've been going through the last week. So who's got an itchy topic they want to talk about first?
So, do y'all remember the exact age you were when you realized that popular music is no longer geared towards you?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I remember the exact moment. It was my brother's like 5th birthday. He's my older brother. I was like, I can't remember exactly, but I remember he was taken to Walmart or Target, and then my mom bought him a Backstreet Boys CD.
Right.
And I was like, oh damn, I want a CD. And then I tried to. I think I picked like. I can't remember what it was. Probably like Avril Lavigne or something, and she was like, no. And then I took it really personally, and then I remember sitting in the car as they were playing Backstreet Boys on the CD, and I was like, I hate the Backstreet Boys. And then anytime I saw them on TV, like flying around a concert or whatever, I'd be like, I hate the Backstreet Boys. And I carried that through.
Backstreet Boys are goats.
Yeah.
First, your opinion is your opinion, but my God, they've done so much. But go ahead.
It's definitely a bias that was just through my own experience or whatever. It has less to do with the music.
I guess more so, bro. What I was trying.
You're talking about like aging out of music. Aging out of music. Like you're the person that's like, oh, back in my day, music is crap now. They don't make music how they used to. Music isn't good anymore. It's
like
just noise.
How do y'all cope with becoming the curmudgeon? Because regardless of how unique we all are, there was a point in time where we all listened to popular music.
But I will say, like Skylar does have a point of like also like just being on the outside of popular music even from a young age and feeling like the thing that is popular, I don't feel like this is marketed towards someone like me. Because I will say that because I grew up in a pretty religious house, and it was very strict. We were only allowed to listen to Christian music, and the handful of like albums that were like questionably like Christian artists, or there was no like cursing or like
you get the
sexy stuff. And Kelly. Well, that's also why I love Kelly Clarkson, because it's one of the 5 CDs that I was allowed to have. But I will say, even with that, like, I kind of knew some popular music at that time, but a lot of the music of our generation missed me at a young age. But I will say that because I am like a child of the 90s, I'm able to go back and like listen to it as an adult, but with as like the mindset of a child of the 90s, like, so, but like as an adult, if that makes sense.
No,
like I can listen to Tupac, and I wasn't allowed to listen to that when it was out, you know, and it wasn't something that my mom was necessarily like blasting in the car.
But now you're able
but
to
now,
contextualize
yeah,
it.
and I can actually, like, it's like new to me. Like, he'll show me music from like back in like when we were growing up that I'm like, oh no, I didn't hear that, especially if it was like the early 90s, late 90s. When it came to early 2000s, I was a teenager, and then so it was like, now you're sneaking and listening to stuff you're not supposed to. And my cousin would always, and I don't know if you guys remember, but there was like, you could record from the radio if you had a good, you had the
I feel
tape.
like we all did that at some
So,
point.
so you know, you always heard the commercials, and it's like, oh, 93.1. Yeah, so it was just like always like, my cousin would come because she was like the bad influence, like, you know, but she was just resourceful, you know, like, and our parents were
able to listen to other radio stations.
She was just resourceful.
So she would bring us like mixtapes, and then the little girls in our like on our block would bring us like burnt CDs and stuff, and so I will know songs from the early 2000s, but have no idea who sings them because that's how I was listening to them. So I'm like, oh yeah, I do know this song, or I do know this artist. I just didn't know, like I couldn't put a face to the name, or anyways. So
I think I realized that the new music, well, I had an actual moment in the club. There was a Billie Eilish song playing, and it was real sad, and I was like, oh, I guess like I'm not meant to like care about this anymore. I don't have the feelings of a 15-year-old girl, so that's nice. But like also when I stopped drinking and going to the clubs, is when I realized probably not really going for the popular music. I don't need to vibe out to P.D. Pablo anymore.
Oh,
that was my favorite one. When I first got to Germany, I got hammered drunk in this club, and P.D. Pablo started playing, so I took my shirt off and started whipping it around.
What?
Yep, that was how several people on my flight got to introduce themselves to me.
I wish that we had footage of that. North Carolina.
Oh my God.
I did raise up. I was on a stage. I was waving my shirt around. I was having a good old time.
Oh.
P.D. Pablo brought a lot of joy to people.
Yes.
Sure. And that's beautiful that we got a chance to touch on that part. Well, I mean, like honestly, it sounds like we all did it. We all phased out of the popular music gracefully, and that's beautiful.
I will say though, my inner sad girl does still kind of love Billie Eilish. I won't listen to the whole album, because not all of them aren't hits, but there's some of them that like there's this one that is on Beat Saber that I was like, yes, I love this song so much, and it's so sad.
I wanted to hate on Billie Eilish so much. I did not want to like her, but the girl is talented.
And it's just the tone of her voice for me.
She can put together a song, and vocally she is on point.
I will also say, after, like, okay, I have to preface this. Lil Wayne deciding to do auto-tune was awesome, because Lil Wayne has really awesome rhymes, and it created a new avenue for him to approach his style of music. He made a new style for himself. But everyone else using auto-tune to write their garbage lyrics, it's not great. That's basically around when Future started taking off and everyone started copying him. I was like, oh, I can't.
No, like, real talk, bro. I think you actually bring up a very valid point. It's almost, I kind of liken it to Steph Curry jacking up all of them threes. It's like, it's great for him, but when the whole league starts to do it, it's kind of, it muddies the water a bit, because everyone isn't built to do said thing. So, no, I feel that completely. So, like, earlier when we got into this topic mode, you talked about how your mom wouldn't really let you listen to certain music, and a lot of that, her ideology behind that, it was like based in like religion, and a lot of times religion can be like this double-edged sword. For some people, it's great. For some people, it's not. So, like, what I would want to ask y'all right now is just kind of like, what is your relationship to religion as far as like childhood and then like coming into now? Is it important? Is it not important? Do you just kind of live your life beyond it? Like, what's
It's always been like a big part of my life. Like, I go to Sunday Mass, and then on Saturday I have the sacraments that I make sure that I go through, and I study my my three. I have tomes. I collect tomes, and it's like it's always been a powerful thing. Just because like my grandma was very religious, and I come from like an Italian American household. Yep. So it's just a huge part of where I'm from. So
yeah, that's for sure.
I don't know if you're messing with me or not. I mean, so I'm waiting to figure out, so I know how to respond.
I just assume it's all a lie, honestly.
I doubt he's as devout as he used to be, but
it is a thing. Okay.
Probably.
Yep, as an Italian American.
Yeah, sure. When I never had a strict religious upbringing. I came from two very large extended families, so my parents were the youngest and they didn't care about church that much.
Yeah.
So the only time that I had to really care about it, I would go to like a church summer camp on like Wednesdays or something. So we'd go into this Lutheran church, which, by the way, churches are pretty good in structurally, aesthetically, the concept of big old steeples and making more space for things to be like acoustically strong and inviting and warm. It does kind of outside of everything outside of the wooden pews is very inviting.
Truthfully.
You know.
But
they have like big things that you can like you cushion like leather bound stuff in front of all the pews that you can just sit on.
Baby,
well, those
it
are
don't
for
matter
the
how
kneeling.
much cushion, them things is uncomfortable.
Yeah, you got thick ass Bibles you can sit
sir.
on with the leather.
Very uncomfortable, bro. It's uncomfortable, no matter how you slice it, dice it. Go ahead, Corey.
Especially if you're sitting there. It depends also.
Yeah, if you're Catholic,
on,
you gotta go through an entire day. Like, essentially, it was cultivated for people who had literally nothing to do. So you'd spend an entire day on Sunday just hanging out with people, going through all of these rituals, and they have stanzas and
church used to be the club.
events.
There's sacraments.
No, absolutely. It was definitely a big social gathering.
These days, I more so look at the question of the spirit as opposed to the structure of the religion. I tend to look for the concepts that they talk about. The benefit of Lutheranism is no one really gave a shit how you actually like prayed or devoted yourself. You just got to be like, I give my life to Jesus, and you're pretty much good. Martin Luther decided the Catholic Church's rules were more or less unnecessary in valuing your spirit towards the Holy Trinity. So that opens up the concept to question more things about why we kept cultivating these stories.
But faith isn't about questioning. It's about like it's about belief, and that's why like I feel like there's space for both like Catholic and Lutheran, as long as like there's like understanding of like of meaning wellness.
Sure.
So for me, religion is a man-made construct. Like, it is though. It was man's way of
interpreting how they
things
feel
they
about
couldn't,
things.
things that they couldn't understand, like putting rules and like different, like just like a man-made structure on how do you say it?
Omnipotence?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I always struggle saying that word. But a being, like an all-knowing being, you know, and it's just like you experience certain things in life, and it's just like, I don't know. For me, I do believe like the core of it, yes, but like the structure of religion is kind of what always kind of didn't sit right with me, because they're the teachings and across the board. I have a bunch of different theories that like I probably will never do enough research to really just confidently say like, oh yeah, like I'm right in this. But I just think about different stuff, and I don't know how familiar you are with like the Tower of Babel.
Oh,
Yeah.
But essentially, people were trying to get too close to God, or people were trying to be God, essentially. They wanted to build this huge tower to, like, reach heaven and, you know.
What I do like about that is that everyone was able to work together.
Truthfully. So there's, like, two sides to that, but, like, for me, like, that's when God was like, no, you guys won't be able to communicate in that tier, because when you started to come together, instead of coming together for good, you were trying to come together to just be more powerful than I am, which is never going to happen. And just to prove that, I'm going to like split you, divide you, and now you'll have to figure out from there. That's been which is kind of like fucked up. But if you look at most religions, the core values of almost every religion is the same. Don't steal, don't kill, don't like, you know.
Be a decent person to other people.
So essentially it's just like, hey, be a good person or you're going to pay for it in the afterlife. Almost every single religion, its core is that.
Yeah,
so to me, it kind of feels like we're all like, I don't know. I just thought like maybe we're all trying to worship the same God in different languages.
Sure.
Because essentially, like all these things that, you know, I don't know. Anyways,
well, everything does exist, and it's all happening in the same sphere of each other. So I've been kind of diving into this thing, Hermeticism. It's kind of based around this personal theory in between Egyptian and Greek culture of Hermes Trismegistus, which is identified in Egyptian culture as like the god of Thoth, the god of wisdom, and Hermes in Greek culture, just like the messenger. The Trismegisterian part is because of a third thing he was able to do. He did alchemy as well. So it's this concept of understanding all of the different aspects that the whatever creator you want to call it put around us. So,
I like to call him Jesus, but
sure. Well, even still, Jesus wasn't the original incarnation. There was things before the individual came in. So like you're talking about the Father or the Holy Spirit. So like the Holy Spirit comes first, drives this thing to exist, and then everything inside of it does more to learn about different things. So because there is different languages and different cultures cultivated, it is mostly the people. I feel like there's a middle ground between the societies and the plain people, like farmers, herders.
salt of the earth.
Yes, because that's
God-fearing.
inherently what the concept of Christianity is going towards. Well, Judaism through Christianity and Islam. It's to give a voice for the people who were not involved in the giant empires.
I don't think we can talk about Islam on the... I think we might get like... it becomes like a
as long as we don't show an image of Muhammad, I think we're okay. And I'm not talking about that strictly, just the concept of like ideas coming from people who weren't involved in empires, and then all of a sudden called upon to cultivate a difference within those empires to show a different variation of what is possible.
Yeah, giving a voice to the voiceless, essentially.
to get trying to find a way to get people more involved. It's just that because we see it fragmented in our time and space and our own individual perceptions, like you got to try and talk it through to other people. That's why fundamentally the concept of the what is it, the broken glass, the stained glass windows in churches, that's been the one thing that always drew me towards it, because everything has, well, it's all different sizes and shapes, but it's all made of the same stuff, and it's all working together to make this thing.
That's
like a
beautiful. That's a beautiful metaphor, Corey.
Because that's...
I'm like, oh my God. Stop. I'm
Oh.
gonna shed a little tear over here.
But I mean, yeah, that's what most people have been going through, because essentially, like okay, we'll call it Judaism. It started with regular ass people sitting in basically caves, learning language, trying to make...
The Anti-Defamation League is going to be on our ass. I don't think we can say that Jews are cave dwellers or anything like that on the pod.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
It's bad. Wow. It's bad. It's bad optics. Just, we might want to, like, curate our...
Have you heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Oh, was it in the VeggieTales?
No.
Yes.
I
I can't with you and VeggieTales.
Oh, I love it. It's doctrine.
Me too.
It literally is.
That's why. Oh gosh, Skylar, he was going deep into a story right now.
Yeah.
It is basically just they were in caves in the desert away from the society, trying to find like an active spiritual reason for why we keep going forward. And like if there is any good to come out of it, like what can we join together to try and figure out? And they wrote like a shit ton of things, and probably way more than we could ever actually understand. But we have some remnants of them. And everyone agreed upon, what was it, 66 books?
66 books.
Into the Christian religion. So
I thought they were scrolls.
Yes, it goes through the process of transcribing.
They tear it up and then bind it.
So, yeah, the whole point of us all glomming together in a religion is because we trust in the concept of the group looking together, and the middle ground of what we can all agree is a good message is probably the best message. Insofar as institutionalizing it for the medieval ages, that was probably too far, because then you got a personalized king dictating how they view the structure of it.
King James, what up?
Yeah. So it could benefit the people around, but it was originally intended to be a voice against all of the
oppressive,
terrible shit going on, in hopes that eventually it is reconciled enough where there is a balance in
the force.
Yes. Whereas if there is a construct of infinity, like we get to experience an inverted version of what we've experienced here. So like if you're able to use other people to build yourself up, it would invert you to be used against you in the afterlife. Whereas you try to build other people up, you would then be built up to observe as much as possible in the harmony of grace.
Corey, you did your research. Oh boy, knew this man says 66 books in the Bible. Mm-hmm. Truly, that's very impressive.
I do want to add that
Read
yes,
your book.
I am a Christian.
All right,
I was like, I don't want that to be lost. I do believe in Jesus Christ.
Amen.
But I think I just don't believe in how the church as a whole kind of like enforces.
And then too,
things.
I feel like the church has kind of perpetuated this notion that God doesn't want you to question things. Like, there's
or
nowhere,
that you're supposed to
nowhere in the
live like a
Bible.
certain way in order to be a Christian, and it's just like, no, this is my walk, my journey, and God will fix where it needs to be fixed. Like, that's not for someone else to decide. I think people forget that literally our only job on this planet is to show God's love.
And we try to do
That's
God's job for
Instead
him.
of group,
we're
can
not
we be
here
a
to,
fellowship, GOODest fellowship, and this could like be like a fellowship, as we're all Christians and Italian?
I
Not Italian.
doubt your sincerity in saying these things, but okay, so we talking about religion and just how that can dictate certain things in life. I feel like low key maybe Amber Heard and Johnny Depp could have used a little religion in their relationship. Because
I was a reach, but like, I appreciate the attempt at a
Segues are weird. We're trying. It's better than I would have probably just gone straight through it.
Oh my bad. No, it was good. It was good.
You just called out. You caught
Yeah,
it.
you got me.
I was like, you
got
know
me.
what? Like, but like he really tried. He went for it.
Yeah.
He went all for it, and we have to appreciate that.
I'm just trying to keep the shit moving forward. You know, it's
You're doing great,
not an
Ben.
easy
You're
job.
doing
but,
great.
Somebody's got to do it. But low key, shout out to Johnny Depp, man. He has just been an exemplary figure in just class and poise during the whole trial.
And pettiness.
But it's hard. It's hard not to look at it and just kind of marvel a bit. Is all I'm saying.
Well, insofar as we finally got through the whole trial, we get to film this basically 3 hours after they finally came in with a verdict on this 3-week trial over defamation of Hollywood stars Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, wherein Johnny Depp, an established movie star for roughly 3 decades, got in a relationship with one Amber Heard during the movie The Rum Diaries, where he was obviously enjoying the rum a lot, and she read his diaries, and they got together and got married, and things were bad.
Did he choose to drink rum because his character the pirate drinks rum specifically?
You know,
like
probably.
Jamaican rum.
It's called method acting.
You know.
Method
Yeah.
acting.
I feel like
Getting
he's
involved.
like, I'm a pirate.
This is a dude who stayed in the basement of Hunter S. Thompson's house while he was getting ready to film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
But he could have drank anything.
He makes the big bucks.
He chose pirate liquor specifically.
Sure. Well, you know. That was also just the name of the movie. I think it was another Hunter S. Thompson movie, I do actually believe. So they filmed that movie, got together, got married, things were real bad. By 2016, they got divorced. She shit his bed. She filed a suit for battery and sexual abuse. And then he spent the last 6 years trying to not have to deal with that. Put it away through legal terms. And this case finally did that. Came through with a verdict, all in favor of Johnny Depp, and 7 counts against defamation on Amber Heard, whereas Amber Heard got 1 count of defamation against Johnny Depp's lawyer for a statement after the fact. So it's just nice to see it all have been played out on the public screen. So everyone got to be involved in it. We all were basically a part of this trial.
My dog stepped on a bee.
And we all saw everything basically play out. We got to see her work through an entire story that she had carefully cultivated for the last probably 8 years.
But let's not look over the fact that that girl needs help.
Yeah, well, yes,
she
obviously.
needs serious help, and I just, yes, she's crazy, but also girl, what happened to you?
Well, it's
because I feel like crazy.
I think
crazy isn't it's not born. It's made.
Crazy is cultivated.
It's made. So at one point, whether it was your childhood or whatever, but you just haven't got help for something. You're fucked up somewhere.
Well, it's mostly probably not being called out for a very long time for a lot of shit. If kids try to get away with things. That's basically what nearly every kid is trying to do for the first 20 years of their life. Like, what can I actually do? Can I touch myself? I don't know what to do. And then if they can get away with enough stuff, they just keep on going through it. And as a woman, she saw the Me Too movement as a sign where she can cultivate anything she needs to do to propel herself forward.
Yeah, but for me, I feel like she was already kind of moving forward. Like, you were with one of the richest men in the world.
Yeah.
Like, in the world. Fuck that up. Then you're with one of the most popular...
She was with the richest man. She dated Elon Musk, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I said one of. He's not the richest man in the world.
He's
one of
crypto.
them. He's one of them.
He's crypto
He's
rich.
not.
Yeah, but he's just one of them, but it's still
That's insane.
still countless others.
He owns Tesla.
I think that the Me Too movement, just like the Black Lives Matter movement, I think that you have certain figures within the movement that try to hijack it for personal gain.
Well, yeah, and that was my point, I guess, that, like, she was already there, so, like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you were already, like, you didn't need to do all of that to, like,
She
push
doubled back
yourself
when she should have just
forward.
kept.
Yeah,
just
like, she
kept
was on
going.
her, she was doing Aquaman
It's
stuff.
like you won at life.
Yeah, and then
and
it's just
you-
like, and that's what I mean by, like, something has to be severely, like, wrong with her. Like, she's...
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. We heard a couple of tapes of audio that Johnny had recorded, presumably towards the end of a relationship. So we're talking, they were probably together, what, like 4 years?
Give or take. Yeah.
He was involved in the WB studio a lot, and he gave good word towards getting Amber Heard that role. And then once he decided he didn't want to be with her anymore, she was just like, fuck everything about this dude. Because she couldn't take the fact that he didn't want to be involved with her screaming at him and chasing him around and hitting him and trying to cause fights at every single event.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, it's tough to kind of go against such an institution in the world of Hollywood like a Johnny Depp. And I just think that it was a chess game and Amber Heard was playing checkers, essentially.
Well, ultimately, because it wasn't actually about the shit that went on in their relationship, right? The whole case was based around them talking about shit and releasing statements about how bad it was. So Amber did that initially, and it caused a whole ass shitstorm, which broke Johnny Depp's career down a fair amount. It's not good when a newspaper says you're a wife beater.
Yeah.
That's pretty entirely fucked up.
It's not good when your wife says you're a wife beater onto a newspaper
Sure.
either. And did they unequivocally find out that he never beat his wife?
Well,
In the trial?
they found no evidence in support of abuse from him. And what we were allowed to see for the public viewing was like how the persons, Johnny and Amber, were dealing with the court situation. So we're capable of reading into the body language of how things were run. And you have a lot of people who've dealt with a lot of different situations who experience things very differently from what has been presented.
Have you seen those body language experts that they have on The View and stuff?
I've not watched The View, but I have seen a couple of body language experts.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't believe he hit her. Like, that's just my honest feeling. Do I think he did some other fucked up shit? Yeah. You can abuse people without like putting your hands on them.
Yeah.
But
That's what I was gonna say.
Probably verbally. I would say he was verbally abusive.
I would say
just
verbally.
judging by the text messages and stuff he was sending to people, and just how smug he was.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. What she did was wrong, but I'm also like, I'm like, dude, you know he's a dick. Like, he's probably a terrible person to deal with.
And yeah.
Like, he's difficult too.
Yeah.
Like,
Again,
I know she's crazy, but
Fear and Loathing.
I feel like it's so it's there's a tendency to be like, oh, that bitch was just crazy, you know, like, and it's all on her, and I'm like, no, like, look at him, he is crazy, and I'm sure he's insufferable to live with as well. Now I think they were just toxic for one another, and that just, you know, they brought the worst out of each other.
So
and that was that.
That's what this case has been best for us to see in plain view and in basically incriminating detail a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
how a breakdown of a toxic relationship ends up, and it's very bad.
Very, very bad, but yet very entertaining at the same time. It's
Well, sure. If you're gonna double down, you gotta go hard.
It's unfortunate because now the Rock is gonna be replacing Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. And
That's wild.
That's
so exciting.
I mean,
it's interesting.
Maybe, but I just think the Rock has a lot on his plate right now, you know, and
I don't know about how I feel with the Rock having dreads though. Isn't that a little bit of appropriation?
Feels great about it.
I feel like The Rock is going to play Captain Jack Sparrow the way The Rock plays every role as The Rock.
As The Rock.
He's just going to be The Rock on a fucking pirate ship.
The Rock Jack Sparrow.
There's going to be no variation like towards it.
It's like he's like J-Lo, but better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he gets better roles.
Well, I don't know. Here's the thing. I actually had this thought. So, okay. I'm going to change the topic a little bit to sports because the playoffs are going on, and we talked about Steph Curry shooting all the threes. We get to see that again. Hopefully, apparently Boston's good. I've never really paid much attention to them, but they keep beating the other teams, and I think that they're going to lose. So I guess they got a chance. Although the Golden State seems to actually give a fuck about defense now, so we'll see.
Yeah, and Steph Curry is playing defense right now. Steph, if you're watching, I apologize for doubting your defensive prowess, bro.
But when we talk about
his home.
The Celtics got Tatum.
Yep. Yeah, they got Tatum. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And Tatum has emerged as a star in these playoffs. Like, if you look at the resume of the people that he's beat Kevin Durant, he's beat Giannis, and he beat Jimmy Butler. All three who played amazingly in the playoffs, and Tatum came and he was that brick wall essentially. And so if he can have Steph Curry on his resume as someone he's defeated, then you can't help but put him in the upper echelon of current NBA players. So I hope Boston doesn't win. I'm just kind of predisposed not to like Boston, but
so how many titles does Golden State have right now? 3?
Yep, 3.
So insofar as like ring chasing, we tend to cultivate greatest of all time and like who dominates and gets the rings, right?
Yeah.
We talk about like, I gotta throw Bill Russell in there just because he needs to be mentioned.
If you're strictly talking rings, then it's no discussion. Bill Russell is
13.
number 1.
So like you want 11, maybe I'll go with 11 because it sounds.
He won 11 in 13 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty dominant.
Yeah. And Jordan had 6, Brady's at 6 now, right?
7. Yeah.
7. But I think we also need to put J-Lo in the conversation.
J-Lo.
Because she has gotten 5 rings. That
is amazing. Oh, J-Lo.
She is the greatest wife of all time. Nice. Well, the greatest ex-wife of all time.
5 rings. I love J-Lo. And she's got another ring from Ben Affleck.
coming all the way from.
So to double back and go get a ring with your old team, that's pretty great.
I'm saying.
They've been back together for like a year, right? And they're still.
Guys, I just want to say I watched the movie that they met in.
Geely?
Remet?
It's so bad.
Oh, yeah.
It aged
Met the first
so
time?
terribly.
It wasn't good in the initial place.
No, and it just aged so much. You could tell it was a shit movie then, but you watch it again and you're like, a man fucking wrote this. Because yes, a diehard fucking lesbian is going to so just be straight for a man like that. And he just had the worst person. Oh, no. He wasn't Ben Affleck. He was just like, he was a fucking tool. Like, he's an idiot. Like, the whole time. And it's just like.
It just sounds like.
No, it just doesn't. No, it's like worse. He's like, oh, there's this whole part where he's like, I'm a gangster. And like says it essentially like that. Like, oh, I'm a thug. I would never blah, blah, blah. And you like don't believe a word of it. And you're like, wow, how cringy was it to be like on set while he's saying this?
And all of it sounds so like beneath him as an actor.
Oh my God, the both of them, and then they have J-Lo like teasing him the whole movie. Like I'm like, why is she like talking like that? Like she's a lesbian and would like they don't like that's not.
And first
how
of
they're
all,
moving.
I don't J-Lo no.
I didn't. Yeah, I also didn't believe that J-Lo was a lesbian either.
No. Not at all.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
You're
Right.
Yeah.
Are we too loud?
No, I mean, well, ultimately, probably finish it up anyway.
Yeah. All right, so
Well, I'm not worried about you guys being loud. My client's loud, so I don't want it to.
I mean, it's whatever.
So
a little extra life, gonna get a little extra buzz on
Right.
in the background.
So like we all here, we creating like these good moments, creating memories. But like we all are from different parts of the world, different walks of life, you know, and maybe we are in different circles. And so if we're not in LA, I feel like maybe we probably never even come across each other. So my question to y'all is like, why LA? Why was this the place for y'all to hang y'all hat? Because you could have went anywhere. Could have been in New York right now. You could have just stayed home. So like, why LA?
Lack of winter. Out of all of those, there's very little weather here. And I'm from Minnesota. And I was in the nowhere of Minnesota. So I experienced real winter. And real winter is fucking awful. And then in summer, I was on a lake. So I would be humid and covered in mosquitoes. The summer was awful. So once I got through everything, I had a friend who got an internship at a record production company. And he was like, hey man, you want to come out and visit? And I was like, hey man, can I just like live out there? Can I just like sleep on the couch or something? Because going back to Minnesota was shit. So I was afforded I took a bus to come out here.
That boy was really trying to leave home.
Yep.
It's like, fuck it, I'll be on the bus for 45 days, it's fine.
It was three, it was 2 days.
Bro, the bus
It felt like 45.
I got stuck in the byway station, so I had to change buses, but then like another bus broke down, so they had to switch up the bus route, so I had to stay there for an extra like 5-6 hours. But yeah.
Sounds like the bus.
Yeah.
The bus is a beast, boy.
Because ultimately I had the GI Bill, and that they paid me for college. So I spent a semester in Minnesota, and it sucked. So I went to community college out here in LA for the next 3 years.
What college?
Valley College, LA Valley College, because it was the closest on the bus route. Because I didn't have a car.
Nice.
So
Valley College, what up?
So I took the tram 3 stops to the college. I signed up because I had the GI Bill, so other people can help you out.
Yeah.
Figuring it all out. And then 2 or 3 years later, I finally got a car.
Nice.
But the ultimate goal is to try and do comedy. Just try to be able to express myself to a larger platform than a bunch of trees on a lake in the woods in Minnesota.
Yeah, sound like you made the right choice, bro. Especially they paying you to go to school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of there and go somewhere you really want to be.
So your college, like, you're like a college. What do they call those? Where you went to college and stuff?
Alumni?
I guess so. Alma cum laude or whatever.
No.
Cum laude.
Your alma mater?
Cum laude.
It's your alma mater.
But they say the cum in the middle. I promise.
No, that's for graduation.
Graduation.
Yeah, I didn't actually graduate.
Damn.
Whew, me
And
either.
now we respect it even more because he didn't graduate. Just take them people money, bro, and do what you want to do. I feel you on that. How them refund checks look? Probably good, huh? But anyway, we don't get into that. We don't get into all that. But Mo, like, what?
I was like, Sky,
Yeah.
how'd you get here?
Whichever one of y'all.
Well, I came out here, and I came out here. Well, I was born and raised here. And I was born and raised in Santa Monica. I was actually named after Santa Monica.
Can I stop you for a second?
Can
I stop you for a
We
second?
didn't give him enough time to make up a lie. That's why he was like, I was like, oh, if we catch him off guard, he won't be able to lie about it.
Give us the real story, and then you can go back and edit your fake story and post.
I don't
How
know.
about that?
I think my whole thing with like sincerity and stuff is just like I bore myself when I hear myself being sincere or whatever, you know? Yeah, so that's why I just like always opt against it or whatever.
You bore yourself.
Yeah, if I'm just like
we learned something new
Can
about
you
Skylar today.
give us a chance to be bored with the real you first?
Well, give us a chance. Give us a chance to experience the sincerity, and then from there, we can create the verdict on our own. You know, but we don't know because we've never really seen you be sincere before. Like at least I haven't. I've known you for at least more than 3 years.
True.
So it's just like, you know.
Yeah.
So just go ahead, bro. This is a safe space.
All right, cool.
It's just us.
Yeah.
Basically, I guess I bought a he got away. I bought a food truck for $6,000, and then I put it into I put solar panels on it, and then drove it around to different different places to get a feel for it. I spent a lot of time just driving around America, and then I met a lot of people, made a lot of friends, and then I came out just doing really just open mics and then random stuff around, and then people would host me and stuff, and I always got a cool feeling of being the guy from out of town.
Yeah.
Everybody treats you like you're I don't know, you're an deal.
Anomaly.
Exactly. Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everybody rolls out the red carpet. Everybody's your best friend. But then I noticed after about a week and a half, it's you're just one of the regular people.
The novelty wears off. Yeah.
Then I'd roll out of town or whatever.
Right.
And I did that for a while until I ended up in Los Angeles, and also my truck super wasn't doing good. It popped one of the dualies. It had which means it has 6 wheels.
Yeah, the dually dump.
Yeah.
So in the midst of all of that, what kept you going? Just
what else am I gonna do? You know,
That's
what
lack
kept me
of
going,
weather.
honestly.
Lack of
Peanut
weather
butter and
makes
jelly sandwiches
survivability a lot
peanut
easier.
butter and shit.
And my lack of prospects other places. It's not like if I wasn't doing that, I was gonna do something.
So you was
cool.
like, fuck it, I'll struggle here as opposed to struggling in Florida. 'Cause I feel like being here is more than just.
But all work's easy work. It'd be hot, and then it'd be but that's not a big deal or whatever. I'm used to being hot or whatever. And then you can get hungry or whatever, but I've been pretty good with just rationing things, making stuff. So and then having the truck or whatever. It did leak. And that was wild, but I just treated it like an adventure vehicle or whatever.
Yeah. No, bro. that story.
That's what I told CJ when we were first. I was giving him rides places or whatever, and then like it would just pour on him. Like all the water collects in the canopy, and then the moment that you stop at a red light, all that water goes forward. And then it just pours over the people in the front of the truck or whatever. So
nice. Shout out
so
CJ Kelly, by the way.
Man.
Bro, but that story you just
was
told
not
was way,
boring.
way more compelling than anything you would have made up.
What?
Yes.
100%.
That's the whole reason why I'm doing all that other
personally,
stuff.
that other shit that you make up, bro, dud.
That's
I don't fuck with it.
That's
But
an
the
insult to
real-
her because that's the story of her life or whatever. I was like literally like I was born here and I was named
the
Monica
story.
after.
She wasn't born here.
Oh, that's
See, bro,
wild.
you know,
Wow.
You live in Santa
just
Monica
tried
and your
to
name's Monica and you weren't
just-
named after
she wasn't-
Santa
You just tried to
Monica?
call me boring.
You
You
just
see
tried
that?
to, man, bro. You tried
You
to.
see
I
how
just
you-
This
assumed.
is not good, ladies and gentlemen. This is not good.
You just gonna let him talk to you
Honestly,
like that?
honestly, she's more interesting than you. Honestly.
Oh my God, no,
That's-
I'm not.
that's-
I
wanna say
definitely
that
am
on
not.
camera.
Do not give the people false
No, for real. You got
expectations.
the art. You painted
Yeah.
this. She
That doesn't
painted
make
this,
me more
ladies and
interesting.
gentlemen.
That makes me more crafty. There's a difference.
No, I think it can make you more interesting. Because sometimes, my boy, sometimes I feel like you be trying to be interesting when if you just be yourself, that's where the interesting like really is.
You're
Yeah.
a very
what I'm
interesting
saying?
person.
I've
as
always
is.
thought
It's just like,
like
don't
I'm not
try.
like the other girls and stuff.
You know,
I get that.
You're
Yeah.
not like the other girls
Yeah.
because you have a
And it is-
penis. The
and
other
it
girls
is
don't have a
fine
penis.
to,
So-
have fun, tell fun stories every once in a while. Just, finding a balance, timing. Timing
Yes.
is everything.
Yeah.
He said once in a while, but he really emphasized the once in a while.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, pick your moments.
he emphasized it. But Mo, why are you here in LA? What drew you here?
Okay, so I was a theater kid.
Yeah.
I was always doing plays, even in church and stuff. I've been like doing stuff like that since I was like 4. And I always liked it. I did theater in college, and that's where I started stand up. I was like, okay. What do I love most about acting? I've not really ever been like, I can make myself cry, like, because I just didn't like feeling those emotions. Like, I didn't like, I don't know, for me it was about sharing a moment with a bunch of people.
Right.
And what emotion I like to emote to the audience.
Yeah.
And what moment I wanted to share with them, and it was always making them laugh.
Yeah.
And it's taking whatever from the script and making it like, funny.
Yeah.
Even if it's not real, like, even if the writing's cheesy, like, I was a very, like, physical, like, comedy
Physical
actor.
performer. Yeah.
But yeah, so then I was just like, and I always wanted to move to LA, and it was like a thing. I was like, yeah, one day I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna live in Hollywood. And then you go down to Hollywood and you're like, it's fucking disgusting in Hollywood.
It is, yeah.
It's fucking gross.
Very much.
But I was like, I'm gonna live in LA, blah, 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 whatever. Then like I was in Yuma for a while, and you always just find excuses as to not go,
Yeah.
I was just stuck in a small town black hole. My family moved to Phoenix. So then this is Arizona, by the way. So then, and after like being military for a while, like moving constantly, like every 3 years, I think I stayed in Yuma for so long because I was like, oh, this is like
just wanted
the
to build
first
a
time.
foundation.
Yeah, this is the first time I've been somewhere for this long. And it's driving me insane.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to fucking move yesterday. So my dad got a new job. He had retired, so he stopped working with the government because they don't pay shit. Even when you're like contracting with them. So he got offered a way better job in Phoenix. So they were like, hey, we're moving to Phoenix. We're going to get a house big enough for you and your sister to come with if you want to. Me and my sister were living together in an apartment, and so we were like, okay, cool, we're not paying the last month of rent, and we're gonna do
Just
this.
get out, of course, yeah.
So I did that for 3 years, and was like, was feeling those same feelings of like, what am I doing? Like, I'm so unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I belong here.
Don't feel fulfilled.
I don't. And then I'm just like, and I would be crying and having mental breakdowns, like with my mom, like, oh, all my friends. And it's like small town mentality stuff too. It's like everyone's getting married and having babies and has
it all kind of
careers.
gets amplified because there's so few people around. Like you're just enveloped in all of that.
So like I'm seeing my friend's a teacher now. Like I should have just stayed in school and finished, you know, like why didn't I get a degree that could be like useful or whatever. Like so I was just losing my shit, and I was like, if I would have started then, I would have just been like comfortable in like a career-based job, you know, like by now.
Sure.
I wasted so much time, but truthfully in that time I was like, no, this is my time to be young and fuck up and do whatever, like, you know.
No, I mean,
like
that's
I
what your
think
20s are definitely
yeah,
for.
I think I understood like when I was like 19 going to community college, I was like, this is the last time I'll ever be a part of a cheer team, like a part of a team or like a group like this, and I just kind of want to enjoy this and not like over stress over stupid shit, because truthfully I was like, school's not for me, and I've known that's why I went to a fucking junior college, because I'm not going to be like 60 grand, like 200 grand in debt over a degree that I'm not going to use or that I didn't get. Anyways, I talk way too much. This story is way longer than all of your.
It's a podcast.
Yeah, that's
but
the whole point.
Yeah, that helps us. It moves us.
But yeah, so I was just
forward
like,
through
okay, I gotta get out of here. I was 26, like I was about to turn 26, and I was like, I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah,
and if I don't do
that's
this
basically
now,
how old I was when I decided to move out of Minnesota.
That's all I was.
Because like 30's knocking on the door, and you're like, I've done all this, like I've done the whole, like I'm drunk from Monday to Sunday, you know, like, and then it's like I had a whole like phase, and I got all of that out like of my system, like, and I was like, you know what? If I don't go now, I'm never going to go. And I came out here with first month's rent and no job.
That's how you do it.
And a brand new car payment. And was like, fuck it. Like, this is just going to force me to, like, be in survival mode. Yeah, like, I just have to hit the ground running. I got a couple jobs within the first month. And I had a roommate living in, I had 3 roommates, and I shared a room with one of them. Because then our rent was I could afford $300, $300 or $400, you know, for that room, instead of having to pay the full 8, you know, 8 or 9. So it was like that. I don't know. I just, because like everyone tries to plant seeds of doubt when you're like trying to go, oh, you'll be back. That's the thing.
100%.
You'll be back. They all come back. Everyone always comes back.
Or that you'll be afraid, like, oh, it's going to be so scary out there.
Yeah, it's going to be so expensive. You're not going to have, like, anybody out there. And I was like, oh, well, I have a cousin who lives. So, like, this predates, like when I first moved out here, we weren't, like, close, me and my cousin that, like, I live with now. Like, I knew he was out here. I would come visit once in a while, but it was just, you know, he was just like my cousin in LA, my rich cousin in LA that works in, like with the movies.
The Hollywood bigwigs, the movers and shakers.
And that's how all of us seen it. And then when you come out here, it's like,
it's just people.
Yeah, and then it's just like, and then I think sometimes too is like, oh, that's my cousin, my cousin that lives in LA. You know, she like has friends in and it's just like, because I do have friends that are in commercials and stuff, and like we all like know people, you know, like especially just being on the comedy scene, like
getting cosigns from different comics in the LA scene is better than if we were in just our hometowns trying a bar.
Yeah, and so everyone was just like, oh, you how much money do you have saved up? And people are trying to like put their anxieties onto me. And I'm just kind of like, well, I have enough for the first, oh my God, you should save at least $10,000 before you go. And I know myself. I was like, then I'm never going to go.
Yeah, right.
I'm never going to save that much money. Like, because for me, it's material. For me, money is something that, like, money, I will attract what I need, like, always. like, I'm not someone who's at, like, yes, I stress, but, like, I don't think, I've been, like, in places where, like, I don't have rent and I've gotten rent within a day.
Ultimately, it's not an entirely concrete idea.
Yeah, so for me, it was
It's
just,
more fluid.
I'm like, you know, my thing, and it just kind of goes back to even religion. It was, for me, it was a big step in
Just
faith.
interpretation of
Yeah.
how
It's just like,
it
you know, God
moves you.
doesn't let the birds starve. Like, he's not gonna let, like, there's always gonna be either someone around that, like,
A way will be made.
yeah, like
ultimately,
someone,
if you're supposed to
the
be
right
there.
people will be put in my
Right.
life to help me along the way, whether that means getting a job or like they're letting me stay with them. And I mean, you guys could probably attest with, because both of you said you were both, oh, you haven't got to yours yet, but like, you know, like just staying with people, you know, like, and it's just like essentially like, yeah, I do believe that God puts these people in our lives at the time in which we need that, and they needed that too, because it's just like, that's like, you know how people say like, don't block my blessing when they're trying to do something good for you.
Yeah.
Because I do think that like other people like being able to bless you then creates more good karma for them
Exactly.
in turn. So it's like, anyways, that's my long-winded story of LA. We could talk about roommates, because I was like, because that was a whole, but I think we need a whole podcast for just roommates.
Yeah.
Because the amount of roommates I've gone through, Craigslist roommates, crazy shit.
She want to call all you bitches out. All of you bitches.
And
we calling you out next episode.
I was like, yeah, bitches. I was like, there was dudes
I
too,
know,
but like,
dudes. We calling the dudes bitches too. We want to call all of y'all out.
Bitches too.
All of y'all. That's mainly what I was talking about when I said that.
I was like, most of the girls that I roomed with out here were
so we calling everybody
What about
out.
you, Darius?
Alright, yeah, so now it's time for Darius to make us all sleepy and horny while he explains how he got
oh
out
my
here.
god.
Sleepy and horny. That is actually a great combination. No, I mean, all right. This is a kid show. My bad, kids. Stay away. Don't be horny. Man, for me, honestly, I was at a point in life where I was really just trying to figure out where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And as fate would have it, I had one of my comrades in comedy, who also just so happened to be a lawyer, needed someone to house sit for a couple of months out here in LA. And I was just like, oh, hey, I can do that, like, for a couple of months. Mind you, after these couple of months passed, I had no idea where I was gonna go. I just knew that, like,
But you know, you had a couple of
I
months.
just knew I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna be out here. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna be out here, and I'm ready for the adventure, however it ensues. And so, get here, a couple of months, got to live fairly comfortably, but like after that couple of months, I feel like that's when the real fun started, because I didn't. The real fun started because I didn't really have a concrete place to stay. So I would sleep in front of the Carl's Jr. for as long as possible, or stay in Subway until they would like kick me out. And then it was just like meeting a lot of other great comedians on the scene who were willing to offer a helping hand.
It was the Carl Jr.'s at NoHo?
It was the Carl's Jr. in NoHo.
Yep.
Yeah. It was the Carl's Jr. You know about that Carl's Jr. in NoHo? Very accommodating, very comfortable when you don't have nowhere to go. Oh, it's beautiful.
They got a TV.
They got a TV, and the people don't really bother you either.
They don't care about anything. All that food has fucking like neurotoxins or some shit in
They
it.
don't. They didn't give a fuck, bro.
Yeah.
So it was really just me, like, on this adventure in LA. And I just remember one comedian told me, he was just like, "Yo, if you gonna live this comedian life, get you a suitcase with some wheels on it, because you gonna need that shit." I never got the suitcase with the wheels, because thankfully shit just.
Well, that's how I got out here on the bus. I had a suitcase with wheels, and I had tied down my other duffel bag on top of that.
See?
And I had
wheels.
a backpack.
That's essentially,
That's all I had.
Yeah, that's pretty much. And then too, I'm pretty sure that all of y'all can attest to this actually. being a comedian out here, you learn how to live a very minimalistic lifestyle. It's just like you learn how to just cut out the fat, and you're just like, okay, I don't need these 10 shirts. I really only need 5. And you just kind of learn how to live and just how to maneuver.
Yeah, have you ever seen me without this exact shirt and these?
Bro, you're a cartoon character. You like Doug, bro. Just the same thing all the time. It's just like you're like fucking Doug. But then too, being out here, it taught me that yes, there are an abundance of shitty people out here in LA. Don't get me wrong, but it did teach me that there are just some sincerely good people out here too that actually do just want to help. And I think that was an important lesson for me to learn, because prior to coming here, my thought process was, I'm just going to focus on comedy. I'm not going to make no friends. I'm just going to struggle alone. And then when things get good, they'll get good. But
wow, you came out here with the intention to struggle alone?
Absolutely. Because like, I knew that it was something that I wasn't going to be able to get around because I didn't have this crazy amount of money. I had a little bit of money saved up, but not no crazy amount. And I knew I was going to have to bust my ass at these clubs and stuff to get people to notice me. But, you know, you find your people, and you find people that you can kind of struggle with, so it kind of lessens the gravity of the struggle a bit.
Well, you ultimately, coming out here, kind of realize it's all life, right? So all of the things that you're worried about back home, like, come out here, you still have to deal with them, but you've moved yourself in an intentional way towards bettering yourself. And that's mostly what it's about. Everyone tries to work through the grind of time and like how we need to keep moving forward. As long as you're trying with intention to move in a positive direction, that's the most important aspect of why you can put faith in the flow of things working out better. Because you will invariably put yourself in a position to find other people doing the same, trying to make themselves better. In varying ways, you know, some people do a lot of people take that strive. We're like, fuck everybody, I'm gonna be great. Which is fine, you just gotta be great. you can't be mediocre. You know, greatness is greatness, charisma pulls through a lot of different people. As long as you can assert your intention in a way that other people can understand and follow and appreciate, that's gonna be what pushes, that's basically what has kept pushing me forward.
And also too, I do want to make this point, CJ, if you're watching, this is about you. I feel like making it is such a vague concept. It means a lot of different things to a lot of people, and I can't really say like, oh, I made it or whatever. But one moment that did make me feel good is when the Laugh Factory put me on their YouTube page, and almost every guest that would come to the house, CJ would make them watch my video. And he almost was watching it in a weird way, like a proud father, like, hey, I gotta show you my friend on this video. And that is by no means making it, but that is something that I do kind of hold in my memory bank. Is like,
you can probably get a check from them. I have a friend who he got like 11 million or some crazy number, and then like he's like, there's ads on this, and then he contacted the Laugh Factory, and then he got a check for like, I think it was around $5,000 is what he got his for. But
really?
Yeah, I bet if you literally just contact them and be like, hey, I noticed there's this thing, and I noticed there's ads, and
run me my money, bitch.
Yeah, just like, but like super chill about it or whatever.
Just super
but
chill.
Super chill.
Yeah.
Like,
Super
don't
chill.
say it like that.
Yeah, because they're just like managing a bunch of stuff they probably don't even realize.
No, they realize. They know what they're doing. They just know that the average comedian does not know.
That's fair. The important aspect about that is professionalism. So trying to gauge the right way to approach the artistic industry of stand-up comedy. Because it all kind of ruminates in this weird cultural phenomenon wherein like we're experiencing each other, we're experiencing ourselves through each other and like committing it to digital memory and hoping that advertisers will want to put weird ass products on it so that we can make money off of it. I'm pretty sure that's how the economy of entertainment works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why, like, allowing ourselves to create horizontally in the culture allows the stand-up to be accessible and owned on its own. So, like, if you can own the means of production, then you have the leverage to control the profits and how it goes out forward with people. Especially, well, you know, personality-wise, people who run comedy clubs probably not going to be super interested in people talking about money, but they'll respect it.
No. Yeah.
And then you got to work the approach of doing that as neutrally as possible, but, you know, asserting the need to, you know, be paid to continue in this society that has this as an avenue of approach, and that we've shown perpetually growth in understanding and contribution to it.
Well, low key, doing all that shit at Laugh At, it would be great to get paid for it. At this point, I'm not going to hold my breath because it's like so many times past. But one of the great things that it did give me though, doing that performance and having that clip, is that it gave me the great life-changing experience of being able to meet this young lady. Because if it wasn't for the Laugh Factory putting me on there, she would have never seen me and we would have never met. So
Yeah. You better stop. You're lying.
No,
He's only saying that because I'm here. He's only saying.
I remember the first night you brought her home or whatever, and then like we were all playing Dungeons and Dragons, and you hung through it. Was that what happened?
No.
No, she watched WrestleMania.
It was WrestleMania or some shit.
Who were you playing?
No.
CJ brought this Latino lady to play Dungeons and Dragons with us one time, and she hated it, bro. She had no part of it.
No way that she hated it.
Oh my God. No, I sat through 8 hours of.
Oh yeah, it was WrestleMania. But
no,
all I mean
it was
is like
Money in the Bank.
It was Money in the
Bank.
Bank.
Money
Yeah,
in
it
the
was
Bank.
Money in the Bank. Yeah.
And we were laying on the most uncomfortable box spring. It was just a box spring. There's no mattress on it. But he had me back there like, no, this is cool. This is my bed. And he was like, this is going to test if you really like me. Like, because there's a lot of dudes here and there's a lot going on. And you're about to see how I'm really living.
Yeah,
and I don't know how... Like, I feel like he was just like, I feel like you knew I was a good person, but like you had to like make sure you're like, hey, I know you found me.
Because you're a good person, you gotta know, hey, you're about to step into some real ugly shit.
He was like, yeah, it was very much like, I have no idea what's going to be going on behind this door. It was like a surprise like door too, you know? But no, it was also like, I know you found me on the internet, and I know you think I'm like this like trending person, and that I'm getting paid to do this, and I'm all, if you're looking for money, bitch.
Yeah, here's the real,
This is what's really going on. I was like, oh wow, yeah, okay. I was like, how many of you stay here? It was so cute though, because I remember CJ was cleaning up. He was like a dad.
And then Corey got a candle.
Yes. I was like, oh my God, they love him so much. They're trying so hard to impress me, and this is so cute.
They tried to talk me up real quick.
Yes, they did.
They're
I was
just
like, oh, I was like, he attracts good people in his life. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and then
like,
it's just kind of like full circle of just kind of like the people that you meet along the way, and that you see that, you know, everyone isn't someone to run away from. Some people are there to
I
embrace.
even remember that video too, like when we were on the date, we went to First Friday in Venice.
Aw.
Yeah, and so it's like a bunch of taco trucks, and so for people who don't know what First Friday is, it's a strip on Abercrombie of a bunch of shops, and then a bunch of taco trucks will come and park on the street. They close the street off, and you just walk back like up and down, and you eat a bunch of food, and you like shop, and like you know.
It's a whole cultural experience.
Yeah, so it's just like all the LA taco trucks come and stuff. So, we were ordering pizza, like this wood fire pizza or whatever, and we're waiting for our order, and one of the guys that was working in one of the trucks walks by, hey, aren't you Darius Culpepper, right? You're that comedian, right? And I was just like, now mind you, this is our first date, and oh my God, and I was like, how much did you pay him to walk up to you and say that? And he's like, I swear it could not have worked out better if I
can't
planned
believe
it.
that like what? Like, yeah, I am.
Oh, shit.
He's like, oh my God, God really does have my back. Like, cause like, I was like, oh my God, no fucking way someone just recognizes this dude.
Bro,
like,
God.
But he was fangirling over him too. The way he was excited to just see him in person, like, oh my God, you're real, you're here in front of me.
That was an angel disguised as a human. That's all.
Oh my gosh! But I was just like, and I remember not even wanting to go on the date because I was in this like weird space, and we were both 4 hours late to the date.
Oh, yeah,
He's not surprised.
So now, mind you, I feel like God only had to have known, like, because if I would have had to be waiting for him, I would have just never talked to him again.
Probably.
Ever. Like,
That's
not on
happened
the
to me
first,
with a lot of girls.
not on the first
Just
date.
like, damn, you too late, boy.
But I didn't want to go, so I got really high, and then I was just like, I was in a mood, I didn't feel like getting dressed, nothing looked good, and then I was like, do I even want to go on a date? I like hate men right now. Like,
Yep.
I just have had this shit, like, I've been single for the last decade almost.
Sure.
At that point.
You
It
were
had
an
been
incel
8
at that
years.
point?
Yeah,
She was an
essentially.
incel.
Essentially.
She was an incel, yeah. She was single,
So
but she
I
wasn't
was
no
just
incel.
like-
Tell you that.
No, it was voluntary
Yeah.
celibacy
Yeah.
at one point. But yeah, I had just been
Bond
like
cell.
through. Yeah, it just the dating pool is like a toxic pond. It's a toxic lake of chemical waste out here for the most part. It's like there's still like gems, but I think just most people, the good people that are left, are really jaded and just. You know,
Giving up on
Perspective
life.
gets a bit cracked
Yeah.
underneath the hot sunlight bearing down
Yeah.
on you all the time.
yeah, and it's just like everybody just it's very like
That's me in the dating pool.
hookup
Hot
culture.
sunlight.
Hookup
It's very
culture,
hookup
yeah.
culture-y, and if
Hookup.
you're not really like trying to like, I mean, like, yeah, at one point, but then you get to a point where you're like, ugh, I'm just like bored of this.
Yeah.
So it was just like I
All that extra energy
yeah.
for what?
At that point, I just had my little roster and was just like, this is just who I am now.
Little roster.
You know, I wasn't really like looking to seriously date
The
anybody
next show, we're
because
going to
I.
have the people from both our rosters call in.
Oh God, please no, ever. Because definitely had to be like at certain points, like especially in the beginning of the relationship, like, hey, don't text me anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a different. I found Jesus again.
Again.
don't.
Good luck
text
on
me.
your path, but
Right, but like
unlocking
I'm not on
someone
it
else.
anymore. Oh God, yeah. So I just like, I was taking my time and I was like, oh, if I'm late, maybe he'll cancel. You know, like he's got to be tired of waiting. Little did I find out, he only made it there 15 minutes before I did. Like he actually wasn't waiting that. And I'm thinking I had him waiting for like 2 or 3 hours just like walking around, right? So I was like, damn, he's really like staying.
So, and then you brought me roses.
I did.
On the first day.
I brought him flowers because I felt okay. So even the flower story, it wasn't roses. It was a tasteful arrangement. Okay, it was very trendy. It was like wrapped in like twine, you know, like the brown twine. It was looked very organic and fresh. No, what happened was, so I was managing at the shop at this time. So one of the other managers of one of the other shops on the street had brought it into the shop and was like, hey, this is just a gift from our shop to yours, blah, blah, blah. I was like,
it was kismet.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I have a date tonight. Can I take these? You know, I asked the other managers if they were cool with just me taking the flowers home. And they were like, yeah. I was like, I got a date tonight. You know, we're going to switch up the gender roles. We're going to shake it up, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, you know, I'm sure. And I asked all the dudes on shift, I was like, wouldn't you love, like, if a girl came to your first date and brought you flowers?
Yeah,
like, oh, no one's ever, that date's going to stick out. You're
I feel
always
like the
gonna
belle of
remember.
the ball.
Yeah, you're always going to remember me. You know, even if it doesn't work out, oh, that's the bitch that brought me flowers.
Yeah.
You know?
Bro, so how about I get back home, I have the flowers, right? And like, you know, CJ's like, oh, you know, what's that? I'm like, oh yeah, she brought me flowers. And he's like, that's cool. So I set them on the counter and then CJ gets up at me. He's like, oh no, you have to put these in water. Like, he gets, you know, in his manic way, he goes to the sink immediately. Like, yeah, bro, you don't want these to die. All right? It's like, you don't want these to die.
Put them on the
like,
windowsill.
He did! I was just about to say, because he sent me a picture. He's like, so they're in water. But I love how you sent it to me at the time, like, as if you were the one that put it in the water and in the
Just
windowsill.
leave it real vague.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we put them in, they're put in water.
It's like, we did
Just-
it, because
just-
as a
yeah.
household, I feel like we did it as a household, you know? So
Oh,
it's just like, CJ, what's up? We gotta have you on the show one day, bro. We gotta have you on the show one of these days. But yeah, no, that was like,
oh my God, yeah.
that was just the fun memories that
the first
that we
the
created.
good times. And then I remember I came home too from the first date, and after I even was telling my friend, like I told my family, and they were like, well, because she told them, and my cousin was like, oh, you weren't gonna tell me that you were gonna go on a date with a stranger, like
Yeah, sure.
we should know where you're. And I was like, well, I told Janae, like I told
it was
my
all,
like
like,
best
4
friend
hours
at the
later
time.
anyways.
Like we share location, you know. I always share my location with like a handful of my girlfriends
Sure.
because then
share locations back then.
yeah, you could.
Yeah,
we
sure.
share locations, just so that someone always knew, like you
It
know.
wasn't that long ago.
It
I'm
was
talking
really
like it
not
was
that
10
long
years.
ago. Oh my God! Wow. Don't show how much you started so good, and you're like, oh, it's felt like so long.
No. It's just
It's such a journey.
They say time flies when you're having fun. It's a lie. It goes by very slow, so you can savor all of the funness.
I'm so dead.
Pretty much. That's what it is. That's what it is.
But nice reaching.
I try. You know,
Yeah,
I've been reaching this whole podcast and nobody's caught me up. So I'm just gonna keep reaching.
Oh gosh. But
All right,
yeah.
guys. You know what's not a reach? To ask a bunch of comedians what their favorite dumb joke is. Right?
Sure. I go with Mitch Hedberg. He is the greatest. He's the greatest random joke writer that's ever lived. The banana joke is probably the one that sticks out.
Could you please recite the joke for us?
Bananas are a lot like street lights, except yellow means you're good to go. Green means hold up a little bit. Red means where the fuck did you get that banana?
Ah.
Cute.
Mitch. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, too. He's one of the greats, one of the goats. Skylar.
What's your favorite dumb joke?
Yeah.
You
My
gotta
favorite
have
joke
one.
is the muffin joke. Have you heard of the muffin joke? So basically,
Enlighten us.
it goes like there's 2 muffins inside of an oven. The first muffin turns to the second of the 2 muffins and wipes sweat off of his forehead because he's perspiring due to how hot the oven, I confused the word muffin for oven there for a second. Excuse that.
Yeah.
But basically, the muffin, I did it again. I'm so embarrassed. This is
All right,
so...
get your head in the game now.
It's
Get
the
your head in the game
oven.
now. Okay, go ahead.
Not the muffin, but the oven is turned on to a very high degree. Basically, appropriate for cooking.
Baking.
Exactly.
Oh,
for
right.
baking specifically.
Yes.
You don't cook in an oven, you bake in the oven.
Yeah.
And you can broil, but it wasn't set to broil, it was set to bake, and it was
Right.
350 degrees. And so it had already preheated before they were placed inside of the oven. So it started out hot.
Full 350.
Exactly.
Everything's hot.
And so the first of the two muffins, being so hot and being exasperated, that's a word, I don't know. But he turns to the other muffin, the second muffin, saying, exclaiming even, that, boy, it's like a sauna in here due to how hot it is, as it's oven that's on high. Appropriate for being baked and stuff. So the second of the two muffins turns to the first muffin and says, "Holy shit, a talking muffin!"
Yeah.
The old talking muffin joke. The old talking muffin joke, you know.
We got
Saw it coming a mile away. Mo, what's your favorite dumb joke?
Okay, so it's just a stupid joke.
No, it's good.
No, it's not.
But that's
which
the
one I'm gonna say.
that's the purpose of it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying
None
that's
of
the
which are-
purpose
Oh
of it.
yeah,
Is what I'm saying.
I think the one I've always gotten the kick out of the most. It's probably like what pants. What are Mario and Luigi's pants made out of? No, what? Damn. See.
Denim.
Yeah. Denim.
Denim.
Denim. Yeah.
Hey, I fuck with that.
What's your favorite dumb joke?
For me, it would probably be, I think Stevie Wonder should call his sperm "can't semen." That's my favorite one. That was like one of the first jokes I wrote as a young man.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
so done
Your
with you
favorite
telling
joke
your
is your
own
own
joke.
Oh yeah, damn that.
Narcissist
That's
slut.
dope, though.
I'm just like, you know,
Fair point, though.
if you're not gonna keep your own horn, who would?
No, yeah,
Who is,
if you're not your own favorite
I mean,
rapper,
I could have told my own favorite pun of my own that I made.
I mean, we can double it back and do that.
No.
I think we're okay.
No, I told my favorite dumb
You
joke.
told your favorite dumb joke.
All
But
right,
no.
guys.
I think we got to introduce ourselves to each other and to hopefully several people.
You
who
want to go
watch
around
this.
and I have a question. What is
Dumb
your
joke.
15-minute routine? Go, Monica.
No,
No,
I was
ending on
totally
the dumb
kidding.
joke.
I was totally kidding about running it back. I was absolutely kidding. I think we just did some good stuff here today. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think so too. How do you guys feel about it?
I feel like we've set a new paradigm for what's possible in podcasting / video content, and yeah.
I think it had a good flow. Yeah, I think we flowed pretty well.
I think you were good at keeping the conversation going. I think, yeah, there was enough.
I don't like that we didn't really touch on Christmas lights or.
Dude, I purposefully
I did start with it.
Yeah, we did start with it.
I purposefully skipped over it.
No.
But we do have
On
it
my
for
topics.
we do have it for the next time if we
I've
so
done so
choose.
much research for that.
I just felt like everybody was just on such a roll that I didn't.
Oh yeah, you didn't want to sacrifice the.
I didn't want to take it.
flow.
Yeah. I didn't
ebbs
want
and
to take it
flows.
into like a weird direction.
I feel that.
You know, I even withheld some of my own topics as well because I had here Steve Urkel's impact.
Oh no, I'm all about that.
With that,
Sure.
you know, that's
For next week.
That's yeah.
We still
that's
have
for a
some
later
here.
date. But no, I felt like the ones that we talked about were good, and I felt like they had enough relationship to each other that it didn't feel like we were all over the place. So
Yeah.
I fuck with it. I can hang my hat on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel good about it.
Very cool.
All right. Let's.
Yeah.